Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. The trade that I placed was Lululemon. Lululemon was running up quite a bit going into earnings. Everyone thought it was going to beat earnings, and chances are it was going to beat earnings, but I decided to take a short position on the trade. Alright guys, for the vlog, let's go ahead. I'm shorting 100 of this. Ooh, wow. Reason being, if they did disappoint, the stock was going to take a beating downwards. And I also felt as if it did do well, it wasn't going to go that much higher. I was wrong.
Looks like a 96 cents a share, earnings per share. That was higher than the 89 cents that analysts were looking for. Revenue also beating estimates, $883.4 million. That was better than the expected $845.5. Comp store sales for Lululemon up 15%. That was better than the 12.2% expected, 55% growth margin. I'm going to continue to dig through these results. But guys, again, Lulu having a very strong quarter.
Yeah, that's all I have to really say about that. Lululemon had blowout numbers. And ended up losing quite a bit of money on that trade.
I just want all of the money. Do you know what I said? I gotta get the dinero, the cash, and the bread. Money. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm down to do the do just as long as it's paying. Money.
The next one I want to talk about is Uber. So I actually bought 700 shares of Uber in the last 2 weeks or so. And I sold covered call on Uber, which will net me about $700 on the covered calls on the 700 shares. And they don't expire till October 4th. I think Uber is a bit sold off here, and if you're not buying it for the long term, definitely, and this is not for the faint of heart, this could go down a lot further. They lost $5 billion last quarter. Having said that, it is actually a great name to generate some income using call options. It could go down lower from here. I'm not advising anyone else to buy it. It's just, I like to pick volatile names like Uber and a few other stocks that are great stocks to sell call options on. And I'm going to continue to sell call options on them. I was doing the call option strategy on Twitter for the longest time, and I ended up riding up Twitter for up until around $33, $34. So I was selling call options in the years on a name like Twitter and riding that uptick. I no longer use Twitter as a name that I actually trade covered calls against. Uber might be my new name. You need a volatile name to sell larger premium options, and Uber is a name that I'm adding to my list of covered call selling. I almost forgot, another big trade was Ulta. So Ulta had actually dropped almost 30%, and I took a call option on the drop. I got stupid. I really did on this trade. Within a couple of days, Ulta was around 242, and I should have just sold my call option, only making $110 profit. But I thought the buyback would be a lot higher than it was, which was a mistake. And overall, I closed out my call option. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my losses on Ulta Beauty. I bought a call option after last week's drop. I was expecting a little bit more of a push up here. My original intent of this trade, it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover my losses here. I don't see Ulta rallying super hard anytime soon, and I closed out my call option losing about $300 on the trade. Next time I'll be smarter about when I close out. I probably would have, this is another example that I probably would have benefited just buying the stock on that much of a dip. A similar thing happened with Symantec a few months back. Symantec is a security company. They make security software for the computer, for PCs and things like that. I had actually bought the dip on a massive fraud that occurred. A very small amount. Obviously, you don't want to being an Enron type scenario here, but you know, I made a pretty nice flip on Symantec stock within a couple of days. I was hoping to do the same thing with Ulta. Sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it doesn't, and this was a case where the trade did not work out for me. Lululemon trade was a bit of a disaster. I probably should have just bought the stock and not short sold it. Having said that, I did day trade Lululemon the very following day. I ended up buying it around $199 and selling it around $201 and some change. So I ended up making some profit off of Lululemon on a different trade. Not the greatest trade, but at least I was smart enough to reduce my losses somewhat. I'm probably not going to trade the name for some time now. And I'll be honest with you guys, part of the reason I am picking these names is because I can talk about the stock, come up with some new content. But realistically, I've always made my living in the stock market essentially trading the same 10 names over and over and over and over again. If I do that every week, however, it is not gonna make for good content. I learned to read the tape of these 10 ticker symbols, and for me, that's enough to make a living. You don't need to go out, read every piece of news, try to trade every stock. Just try to master 10 names. So once again, I want to thank everyone for tuning into my channel. My channel has been growing. I appreciate that. And stay tuned. We'll talk about more stock trades. I'm actually going to do a poker video within the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Just want all of the money. Money. I just want the money, 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 money.